The last episode of the podcast, we had a Barossa Shiraz, 15%, highly concentrated, eat it with a big, thick steak Shiraz. And this week we're trying a SYRAH.
Mhm.
Now, before we even talk about the bottles in front of us, can you just talk about generally the differences between SYRAH and SHIRAZ? Because,
Mhm.
on face value, they look the same. They're the same wine, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, they sound similar but different at the same time, right? And I think the wines inside are exactly the same, similar but different. So similar in terms of flavor profile, but obviously different in how they actually express as well. Anyway, so Syrah, it's what we consider to be the old world wine. So from the Rhone Valley, for instance, where the grape is traditionally from, or mostly produced, and it's a much finer, much more delicate Shiraz, in which you have a lot more finer black fruits and mixed with the red fruit, a very fine grain tannin, very fine spice note.
So a bit more finessed, maybe,
A
right?
lot more finesse,
Okay, a lot
and
more.
more elegance. While on the Shiraz, you expect that, imagine a Barossa that, we tried
Yeah.
the Hentley Farm, right? That big, rich, bold, full-bodied, alcoholic, extremely extracted, and yeah. So that's literally the main. Those are literally the main differences.
Okay. Um,
Hmm.
how do you assess? Let's say you get a blind tasting, and you are just going, "Oh, it's a Shiraz or a Syrah."
Okay.
What's the one big difference that you assess on the nose or the palate that makes you go, "It's a Syrah, not a Shiraz"?
Yeah. So if okay, let's say that the blind tasting is a Syrah. He has that again finesse, that elegance. He has that slight black olive, tapenade,
Black olive.
then
Okay.
grounded black pepper,
So a little
mixed
bit more peppery, something you've
more
mentioned before, right?
peppery, but very very delicate,
Mm-hmm.
made in a very delicate way.
And making it difficult for someone like me to pick up on something like that.
Look, I'm pretty sure if you have wine, like a Gros Hermitage, for example, from the Rhone Valley, Syrah, and if you have a Barossa Shiraz side by side, you only need that once, and then you will know how to distinguish them. Because the Shiraz will be that big, rich, black fruited, jammed, overcooked, still peppery, still spicy, still oaked, but it's kind of almost lacks on the finesse, and it's just meant to be that way because it's a much bigger, bolder wine. It's not better or worse. It's just a different style.
Okay. This is not a traditional old world style of wine.
Hmm.
This is a wine from Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. Now, I'm telling Carlos this because I picked it while you were
Hmm.
coming back from Portugal. Um, so it's a 2020, so it's a couple of years old, from Timada Estate, 1896.
That's when the winery was established.
I
Wow, very
imagine so,
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, look, what was his name? James Busby. James Busby was one of the first settlements that came from Europe with about 500 grapes to Australia and then New
Hmm.
Zealand, or New Zealand and Australia, either way. But yeah, that dates, long, long time ago.
Wow. Well, let's
And
talk
they
about
brought,
this.
yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's do it. So here's the cracking of a Syrah. Hopefully, you were listening to last week's episode with the Shiraz. I can already see a difference.
Yeah, the color is a little bit more watery than, for example,
Yeah,
the
it's not as deep as what the Shiraz was. Yeah.
not as deep as the Shiraz was from the Hentley farm. This is a little bit more watery. It's a little bit paler in color
Definitely
instead of that
less
deep.
intense.
Yeah, instead of that deep ruby color, this one is kind of a ruby, like pale ruby, with a lot more red tones in the edge than the previous one was, which was much deeper in color, was much higher concentration, was much more intense. This is paler.
Is this what you would expect from a Syrah?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
100%. This looks more like a Syrah. The other looks more like a Shiraz.
Yeah,
So far on the visual,
ticking the box.
that's ticking the box. So yeah, I think it's very exciting wine.
Let's try it.
Let's smell it. Nose wise, to me, it does not smell like a Rhone Valley, for example.
Okay,
You would expect that, as I said, tapenade, that
olive style.
black olive, and almost like rosemary and thyme, and that that beautiful, elegant black fruit mixed. Here it smells. black fruit, the black currant, slight blueberry, black cherry. It, with more swirl, there's a little bit more black pepper
Yeah, I'm just starting to get the pepper as well. I was gonna
and
say, you
white
smelling
pepper.
pepper? Yeah.
Yeah, black pepper and
I
white
don't know what
pepper.
white pepper smells like.
Yeah, there's this. You can find like already grinded black and white pepper for seasoning. It's not like sometimes you can find the grains, and if you crush them yourself, it's much more strong. It's much stronger.
Hmm.
But if they already crushed, they much subtle on taste, and I think that's kind of what it is.
Okay.
Well, let's try on the palate.
Cheers. Timata Estate, the SYRAH from Hawke's Bay in New Zealand.
Mm. Mm.
Mm. Yeah. What can I say? The acidity, it's not that present. I don't feel like a high acid wine.
It's not high acid, but I don't think it's low or medium. I
No,
think it's
sorry, it's not a
medium.
Pinot. Yeah.
Yeah, medium plus.
I see. I can't say medium plus because then we're comparing it to the Shiraz.
Hmm.
I'd say medium.
I would say medium plus. I would say medium plus. It's lean. It's lean.
Do you know what it does?
It's very lean wine.
It
Yeah.
drops off.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I've tasted it, and the second it's gone down my throat, I'm back. Clear palate.
But it lacks kind of, to me, it lacks a little bit of on intensity, on pronounced aromas on the palate. It's kind of watery. But that you could tell straight from the get go and the color on the glass. I don't think it's an amazing bottle of wine. I don't think it's the best bottle of wine we tried. It would be fair to try another 2-3 years. Yeah, I mean, look, with a SYRAH like this, light in style, not overly aromatic. You would go with a light meat, perhaps a white meat like chicken. Could be chicken, just grilled chicken. Grilled chicken, your lettuce salad, shaved carrot, and chips.
Simple.
Very simple, just like the wine.